Today, I have a special guest, and it is not Jeems. It is Nikki Hollis here today.
Why, hello, world. Yes, this is Nikki Hollis.
Well, the reason that I have you on today is because we are celebrating a special day today. Today is the release of your book.
That is true. Today is the release date of my book.
And on your press tour, you have decided to stop by the Fairview Social Podcast.
It's the only podcast that I could use for promoting this book because it's my husband's podcast. So it just made sense. I wasn't going to jump on any other Fairview podcast. It was going to be yours.
Although it's very slim pickings on Fairview podcasts. These days, I think that I may be the only one left.
Did the other ladies stop theirs?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen them lately, but I like yours.
But anyway, so, well, good. So you have your book. So why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
All right.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
I already know about it. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about it?
Okay. Well, fun fact about this book. It's the only book you'll ever see with two front covers. The book is called Light Matters, Dark Matters.
So you get the little flip there.
Mm-hmm. It is a collection of photography and poetry spanning 20 years of work. I actually had to, in order to pull this off, I had to edit and format half of this book upside down. So that was a fun trick. And then Matt Dolan helped me out with the look and feel of it. And so after I had it set up, half of it being upside down, I sent it to him and I was like, sorry, half of this is upside down. Good luck. Thank you for your help on it. But yeah, so it's Dark Matters and Light Matters. They're both filled with a lot of poems about, me going through hard things and dealing with life. But it's kind of like the yin yang of books. It's about, the struggle between good and evil, light and dark. And it's very visible in the setup of the book and the images and in the style of poetry and in the two front covers.
Yeah.
Dark Matters is really just me focusing on darker feelings in life. And then Light Matters is actually a lot of prayer poems. And just sometimes when I talk to God, I talk to him in rhyme. And sometimes he talks back to me in rhyme, which is really cool how he talks to each of us individually in our own language. So yeah, that's the essence of Light Matters, Dark Matters, available on Amazon and BookBaby and Barnes & Noble right now.
All of that right now. You can check it out. So those of you that have listened to the podcast with Jeremy, you probably learned that I'm more surfacey in the things like, for example, the words are great, but what catches me is the photography, which is meant to serve both of those purposes. But tell everybody about all the pictures in it. You took them.
So yes, I've been in photography for a few decades now. I've had pictures on billboards in Vegas and Texas. I had a picture licensed for a movie one time. I've been published in a lot of magazines. I've done some album covers, and I've made my way around a little bit with photography. Didn't do too bad for myself, and but yeah, I love playing with light, which just made it very appropriate that I put together this book, and it was really about the contrast between light and dark, good and evil. So you could show some of the pictures I've got.
Well, before we show some of the pictures, I think it's funny that everybody, like, back when you were doing photography a lot more actively than you are now, like, I used to tell people, yeah, my wife is a photographer. But then what I learned is everybody's wife is a photographer.
Right.
But then I said, no, not like a iPhone camera photographer, like a legitimate photographer.
Not like I only use natural light and I don't know how to shoot with lights, nothing like that. That's the average. I always shoot with lights because lights make images much more powerful. Photography actually means painting with light. And my rule of thumb is if it doesn't look like it should be in a magazine, then it shouldn't come out of my camera. So I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And the reason I love photography is because I love showing people what I see in them. So many people are self-conscious, and I just I just think they should have an opportunity to see the beauty in themselves that other people around them are seeing. So I use my photography as a way to just show the world how really beautiful it is.
Early on in our marriage, I got you this camera. I don't know, we were probably married not even a year. I got you like this little Fuji Films, like digital
Hmm.
digital camera that you took the hell out of pictures on, and then, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but then you got this job where you drove around to schools. Like, what was the name of the company?
Oh, Interstate Studios, yeah.
Interstate Studios, which is kind of like Olin Mills,
Hmm.
where they take pictures of all the kids. Would you say that that's how you learned to do light, or did you start with that, or were you like just experimenting with it? I don't remember.
Well, let me tell you a little fun story about Tim Hollis getting me this little digital camera. He gets me this digital camera, little, low end, cheap digital camera, not anything professional at all.
Well, also, I'd like to add that there wasn't like iPhones and stuff back then. It
Right.
was like flip phones. So it's like you had to have this little shitty camera
To take any
to take
pictures.
pictures.
Yeah. So he gets me this camera. And then that same week, he says, I have some friends that I work with that want you to do pictures for them. And I was like, I don't know anything about photography. I don't know what I'm doing. But I ended up doing the shoot anyways. And so then I was shooting just very amateur styles for maybe a year or so. And then I ended up getting a job with Interstate Studios where we go around to all these schools in Middle Tennessee and take school pictures or whatever. And so they actually encouraged us to take the lighting home and get very comfortable with it, even though they had very specific setup that they used and angles for all the lights and everything. They encouraged us to take it home and play with it. So I did. And that's how I learned lighting. And I very quickly realized as soon as I started playing with lighting, I didn't ever want to do it any kind of photo shoot without lighting. And so then I remember in the early days having to take this big heavy power pack out with me in the fields because even like doing outside nature photography, I wanted lights on location. So I was having to haul a lot of equipment and do all this stuff, and usually had to have an assistant or two with me to help. But
Well,
I
well,
got to do some pretty cool stuff.
well, that's a it's a huge difference when you have correct lighting, which what I've learned, of course, didn't pay attention to any of it then, how important it is. But doing this podcast, even now, the lighting, because it's dark outside, is probably not great when we play this back. But the lighting is very important, and it's crazy. Like, I still look at it and I don't understand any of it. And so,
So I've been helping him a little bit with setting up his lights for the studio out here.
I mean, I know I'm making millions of dollars
I
on this
know.
podcast, but I can't afford some good
Yeah.
lights for the Hollywood studios here. So, but yeah, so you did all the, I guess you would say then that you got your start with like being able to take good pictures through Interstate Studio, and then just kind of grew it from there because you went from that little camera. What were you using when you were doing Interstate? It was a nice camera,
It was
wasn't
a
it?
nicer camera. It was a Canon something. I don't remember, probably a 50D at the time or 60D at the time. And you got me my own camera like that. And I used that one camera for a very long time, way longer than I should have. But
Well, I didn't get that for you. Freeman H. Hollis got that for you.
oh, that's right. Yes. R.I.P. Freeman H.
R.I.P.
Hollis.
Freeman.
Yeah. He did get that. Yep. My father-in-law got me that. And yeah, so photography it really took off. I mean, I was able to shoot people like Phil Vassar, known as the Piano Man, and Callie and LaTucker, or Callie and LaCosta Tucker. Callie was on The Voice. Her mom is the sister of Tanya Tucker. Tanya's Callie's aunt, and I got to shoot Corey Batten, who was a #1 hit songwriter, and he wrote the Black Dress song, which is actually called "Getting You Home." And I can't remember the country guy who sang that song, but
Chris Young.
Chris Young. Yeah, that's right. So I've gotten to do some things like that. And again, the billboards, all that. It's just fun stuff.
So then you started.
And I did weddings and
Yeah, you did weddings.
senior pictures and model shots. But I think I really shine more with headshots. I think I'm actually one of the better Middle Tennessee headshot photographers. I see a few that are really amazing in the area, but not a ton.
It's unfortunate because there are some pretty good amateur photographers, and I hate it because you see them fall into the trap of when you see them post on Facebook that they're doing family photos and blah blah blah, and some of them are awful, and then some of them are actually pretty good, but you did your run with that, and it ends up not being worth
It's really
that.
not worth it. No, I don't really love family photos. I'm not one of those people that thrives at those cutesy infant photos. Mine are not great. There's people who are gifted at that. I was better with the weddings, the artists, the models, the headshots. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just going down that road of really getting that kind of business started out and doing all that. It's almost better if you're doing it for yourself, like for this book that you're doing, as opposed to it's like getting into the music industry or the podcast industry. It's like you got to do it for yourself because, it's like a shot in a bajillion it's like winning the lottery if it goes anywhere. But I will say that your photography is pretty good. We can look at some of these pictures that you have here. So this is the pictures of the covers of the book.
Yep, the front cover and the back cover. There's no back cover. The Light Matters front cover is actually a picture I took when I was beginning in my photography journey of our son, Eli. And that was just a moment I captured in the house. Like, that was totally natural. I didn't set that up. I saw the moment and I saw him start to move, and I said, Eli, wait, do not move. And I had him stand there, and I got that picture. And I think on that very first camera that you got me.
I was going to see if you were going to try to lie and say it was with a nice camera. That was actually from that little crappy Fuji.
Yeah, I had to do some work in Photoshop to get it okay enough to print because it was such an old, small file.
That's what I was going to say. I meant to say that a minute ago, that like going and actually taking the pictures, especially if you're good at it, is the easy part. It's like really going in and editing. And when I say editing, I don't mean like you're not editing like today's editing. You can click one button and AI will clean it all up and make it look nice. But you used to spend hours, like, if you had a speck of dust on your lens, going through and editing all that out. It was a very manual process as opposed to, actually having to just be able to quickly do it nowadays.
Right.
All right. So there's the covers. Who is this handsome young man?
This handsome young man is my little brother, Trent. For those of you who aren't familiar with my family, we're quite a large family. There's 8 siblings. And my mom and I and my sister were all actually pregnant at the same time. So my youngest 2 siblings, Trinity and Trent, are the same age as our kids, which is really fun. But
funny when Eli's like, hey, Uncle Trent.
And Uncle Trent's younger than him. Yeah. Or when Hayden's in high school at the same time as Trent, and his friends don't believe that's his uncle because he looks so different and they're the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. But this was another fun fact about the book. I made sure all 3 of our kids were photographed in the book somewhere, and my siblings, Trinity and Trent, are both in this book. Sorry to the other 5 siblings that are not in the book. I'll put you in the next one. But yeah, so my younger 2 siblings are in the book as well as our 3 boys.
You will consider putting them in the next book.
Yeah, and I accept bribes for that too.
That's true. All right, so that's a good looking picture of Trent. That was out in our front yard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what about this one?
This was on a back road in Hickman County. A lot of the theme of the book has to do with just a haunting past. I may have dated a psychopath, and so that haunted me for a while. So
Not presently.
Not presently. No, my husband's not a psychopath.
Maybe a little.
So anyways, like I felt like this image really made sense with just the change that we feel caught up in life, how our past can chain us in ways, and our mentality feels changed sometimes. We can't break loose of intrusive thoughts and all that stuff. So I went down a really random back road in Hickman County, and I found this fence, and took the shot.
Looks good. I would assume that that's in the dark matter side of the book.
Definitely.
All right. And then this one is,
This is our youngest son, Jack.
you want to talk about the rain there? That's kind of fun. Of course, now that I'm looking at it, I heard you talking about this to someone the other day. It does look like stars if you're just looking at the.
Yeah, so I wanted to do a shot in the rain. And I needed a picture of Jack because I already had the other two boys in the book. And so we ran out to the front porch one day and it was night and I set up a light outside and it wasn't raining. I had to fake the rain. So in this picture, Jack's best friend is holding a pitcher of water and pouring it through a colander as he moves it around. So that was an interesting way to create rain for the shot, but that's what we did here.
Oh.
It shows up better here than it does in the book. In the book, the rain isn't as prominent, but.
Well, it looks, I mean, it's tricked me enough. I wouldn't have ever thought if I wasn't there when you were doing it and saw what was going on, I would think that was rain.
I mean, yeah, it's rain. It was raining.
All right. So what about this one here?
This one here it was actually from a senior photo shoot I did years ago with the lovely Emma Rose Williamson, which is a brilliantly talented girl. She is in a lot of productions everywhere. She was actually the voice of Disney Paris. There's a whole section over there where her voice is singing those Disney songs. She comes from a very musical family, but she's currently employed on a cruise ship for, I think, 8 or 9 months, but she's done a lot of local productions. She is a big time vocalist, big time. But I was lucky enough to get to do her senior pictures, and she and I have a great relationship. I just love her. But this was actually from her senior pictures.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of her stuff, anywhere from the General Jackson Showboat to Studio 10 and Franklin Factory.
Yeah.
Is she doing any of the shows this season?
No, because she's on the cruise ship for like 8 months. But wouldn't you agree she is incredible?
Yeah, she's great. She's great. All right. Next one here.
This was also from a senior photo shoot. This was a girl that I was shooting actually downtown Nashville in the Welsh Library, I believe it was called. It was, most of the building was old and abandoned. It wasn't really much of a library, but it was like kind of a historic site in Nashville. And so we went up there, and last time I tried to look at it, I couldn't even find it. I don't know if it's even still there, but the upstairs was really just spooky and abandoned and cool. And I was able to capture this. One night she was going down the stairs and I saw how it was hitting her. I made her stop right there, went up a couple floors and shot down. And I love the layers and the lighting in this. Very contrasty.
Looks good. All right. And this is my favorite of all the ones.
And this is a lot of people's favorite who have seen the book. This is our friend Paul Haynes. He's our mission buddy. We've gone on a lot of missions with him. He's also, fun fact, he's an actor, and when he was in his younger days, he played in a lot of the old Western shows that you saw on TV, like movies, television series. I don't know that you can find any of those anymore because they were that old, but that's our buddy Paul. And
I'm sure they're somewhere, but
yeah, I was doing headshots for him, and of course I wanted to play with the light and change it up from a traditional headshot, and this is one of the ones we got.
Paul is awesome. When we go on those mission trips with him, he'd tell us about all the store, because he used to work in movie sets and building movie sets and things like that, and so he knows like all of the actors.
He's worked with all the big celebrities, all of them, and he will tell you, I think one that he did tell us about was, he said Tom Hanks is literally the kindest person you will ever meet.
I bet that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that one of Paul. That's a good picture. And then, I guess that's the end of the pictures, but because this was on our text thread here, this is while you're working on things like your books and schoolwork, you have a lot of help.
I always have help. The cat and the dog follow me everywhere. They sit in any room that I sit in. Every time I go to my desk, they immediately get in their positions. And
like even now, Frank's over here in the chair.
He's sleeping in the chair. Yeah, they're my security detail.
He's not sleeping. He is protecting you because you know, like when celebrities go on shows and stuff, they always have like their security or their manager like off to the side.
Right. But we can't afford security yet. So we get the free help that's available.
That's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, so those are the pictures. They look good. Another thing is you got Matthew McConaughey's book there.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty awesome thing. So a week before my book came out, Matthew McConaughey put a book out. His was also Poems and Prayers. Mine is Poems and Prayers, but I call half of these prayer poems.
Maybe he's copying you.
But you know what's so interesting is both of us have poems in our books that he mentions in his book that he started writing these things when he was like 18. Some of my poems in this book were from like 20 something years ago. I started probably around 21 writing some of the heavier poems that I've begun writing. But it's funny because I call some of mine prayer poems. And then in his book, he says, my prayers are my poems are my prayers. And this is really cool. So I got his book. I had to pre-order it immediately as soon as I saw it. And I got it this past Tuesday when it released. And I couldn't put it down. So if you get a chance to check this out, do it. It's so full of wisdom and insight, but also some really funny little things too that'll just make you chuckle. There was one page on here where he has a poem in the middle of the page, and at the bottom of the page he says, this was inspired by Judges 17 in the Bible with some Texas Ranger giddy-up justice mixed in. And I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, I guess the day that came out, promoting it. And Matthew McConaughey, he's come from, you know, he just seems like a really nice guy, down to earth. A lot of the stuff in there, his other book, I don't know if it's his first, is really good, but he's definitely one to watch. But I do think that he was trying to copy you.
Yeah, I think so. He just had a better marketing team, which is why he was able to get his out faster than me. Yeah.
And he's on Joe Rogan and you're on the Fairview Social podcast.
Hey, I think I'm winning here. So if he wants to really step it up, he should get on the Fairview Social podcast.
Maybe he should. Maybe he will come out here.
Yeah. But I have a question for Matthew McConaughey. And here's my question. Matthew, I bought your book. Are you going to buy mine?
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll see what he says.
I think he should.
We'll see what he says.
I think he should, because we're apparently on the same wavelength. You know, his does talk more about, it does have more like life wisdom is in it. I think mine has some elements of that, but mine is really focusing on the storms of life. And I will say, if anybody is going through a storm of any sort, or you're dealing with a haunted past, a past that haunts you, my book is going to have things in it that you'll be able to relate to. I mean, it talks about burnout. It talks about a past ex-psycho person in your life. It talks about fear and anxiety and just struggling. And then on the Light Matters side, it's really just talking to God, like, God, I'm struggling here and I need you. And so I feel like it offers both, you know, an opportunity to connect with it and feel what I was feeling, you know, because everybody has the similar feelings, even though their stories aren't the same. But then when you flip it over to the Light Matter side, it's like there's a glimmer of hope. Even when you're struggling, there's a glimmer of hope. And so I feel like when you're stuck in a hard point in your life and you're having trouble finding the light, read one of these poems, the poem prayers, and I feel like it'll be like a glimmer of light, just opening up a door that you weren't able to open on your own.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into the whole story of it, but the book was originally supposed to be a little bit bigger than that. And it's funny because, you know, it's meant to be like a coffee table book. It's not meant to be like even like a normal hardback book or softback or anything like that. But there was, you know, to keep the cost down and all that kind of stuff, it had to be a little bit smaller. So the first batch of them are the normal size, and then they're like just a hair a bit smaller, and you're like, this is all wrong.
I know. Well, so what I did was,
but I'm like,
yeah.
It's fine. But I understand that, like, as the person that took the pictures and wrote the poems and all that kind of stuff, you have a specific way that you want it to be, but ended up being okay with the smaller one.
Yeah, I settled for a smaller version of the book. What I initially did was I went to McKay's and I went to their photography coffee table book section, and I literally held in my arms and felt all of their books till I found one that felt like this is it. This is the size. Like it felt right. And so that was like a 10 by 10 book or 10 and a half by 10 and a half, something like that. This book is eight and a half by 8.5. Just because I couldn't put it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all that stuff and have it print on demand available at the 10 by 10 size. So, being a photographer, I want all my pictures big because they pop better and they stand out more. But hey, they're still great even at 8.5 and 8.5.
It looks good. I mean, I don't know. This might be a dumb question, and I may already know the answer to this, but is that book available on digital or is it only hardback?
This is hardback only. I will say I'm working on a couple more books that will be available digitally on Kindle or wherever, but this one, because of what it is, I wanted it just to only be available in a tangible copy.
For people that have listened to this show before and seen your other podcasts with me on here, they may know that you're fully semi-retired and this is what you've been doing in your fully semi-retirement.
It's part of what I'm doing. I mean, I'm doing some school too, but
Well, actually, most of that was done prior to retirement.
right.
It's just getting it all together and releasing it.
Yeah, I mean, these poems and these pictures were already done, created, taken over the last like 2 decades. Some of the poems I wrote 20 years ago, some of them I wrote in the last 2 years. But the pictures were already pictures I'd taken over the last 20 years. So I already had all the content. But as soon as I got fully semi-retired, the very first thing I did within 2 weeks of semi-retiring was putting this together and getting it out.
Well, okay.
Yeah, and now that I'm still fully semi-retired, I can get my other books out too.
Yeah. Any plans of or like a time frame of when you're gonna have the other ones ready?
I think I'll have another one ready in about 6 months.
Okay.
Honestly, I could do it sooner, but we got life happening, so my plan is maybe 6 months.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say about it? I think that you said earlier you're trying to get Matthew McConaughey to buy the book, but I think that maybe you should just try to get the people listening to buy it.
Well, I think that would be great too. I do want to read a couple of things out of here real quick, just because I want you guys to have an idea of some of the stuff that's in here. And again, all these poems are short and relatable, easy to understand. It's not like when you're not going to be reading Emily Dickinson and having to figure out what these things are trying to say. It's just easy. It's easy to understand.
Well, you just be careful. Don't be giving the book away right now.
Oh, I know. So, talking about how my past haunted me for a long time. I have this poem in here, and this is one of my favorites, and it's called Silent Convict. And it just talks about this ex just haunting me for a long time and me letting fear be in control for a long time, which, again, I no longer do, thank goodness. But so this poem, it actually emerged out of a dream. I had a nightmare one night, and this poem exactly depicts what I was seeing in my nightmare. And I literally woke up the next morning and wrote this poem out in just like 3 minutes or something. But the poem exactly depicts the nightmare I had. And it was a quiet nightmare. It wasn't one where I was like screaming or anything like that. It was just a haunting thing. So Silent Convict. He's watching me through the crack in the cell door, silently planning his escape through the hole in the cell floor. He stands, still watching, his hand gripping the bar. I may win a battle or two, but he will always win the war. He's silent. He stares at the one who put him in. His destiny's been determined. What's another sin? He's still. He's watching me through the crack of the cell door. That perfect opportunity is all he's waiting for.
Silent Convict.
Silent Convict. And that one might not be as relatable to other people as some of these other ones. I've got just a lot that are on different topics. But yeah, again, I talk about fear, anxiety, a haunting past, trauma, things like that, just burnout. There's one in there specifically about burnout because I suffered severe burnout from my previous employment. Won't go into that. But again, when you flip the book to the light matters side, everything, even when I'm writing about something painful, which most of this was, everything has a glimmer of light. It has a filter of hope. It has a filter of faith. So here is a poem called Sigh from the light matters side. The daily sigh, every restless night, always wondering when it'll be all right. Constant pain, troubles fall like rain, anxiety like a train. Where's the break? Where's the light? Where do we find strength for this fight? Oh Lord, set me free from these chains binding me.
Sigh.
Sigh. Yes. So anyways, that's just a glimpse into the writing. It's very simple. I write these things from a very personal place, but I also, when I'm writing them, realize that I'm not just writing about my story. I'm writing about other people's stories too.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like everybody has something to relate to in this. And if you don't have anything to relate to in the poetry, just enjoy the pictures and buy the book anyways.
Yeah, you can do that. Maybe make a great Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Throw it on a coffee table so people can check it out.
And look, if you're not struggling yourself, bravo for you, but you know somebody who is.
Yeah.
And if you know somebody who's struggling, give them this book and they'll realize they're not alone. None of us are alone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so everybody needs the book.
All right, so check out the book, Dark Matters, Light Matters.
That's right.
It's a flip upside down book.
Yeah, the only book you'll ever see with 2 front covers.
2 front covers. You can get it on Amazon. Where else?
Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble.
Book Baby.
Or you can get one from us.
Yeah, reach out to nikki.e.hollis on Instagram, and or if you're friends with me on Facebook, let me know. Send me some money and I'll send you a book and I'll sign it for you.
Well, that's good. Well, I hope everybody checks it out, and we really appreciate the support. Or I say you appreciate the support.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate the support. Check it out. It's a really nice, good-looking book.
Thanks, babe.
All right. Thank you for stopping by on your book tour.
Thank you for having me.
It's very nice of you to be here, Nikki Hollis.
Thanks, Tim Hollis.
All right. See ya.